Hello. Hello, hello. Hey, it's Beattie Boy. Half awake on a sunny, beautiful summer day. Why only half awake? I'll tell you about it. It's the Dinosaur News. And it is August 19th, 2019. The shakes aren't too bad today, but I'll hide my arms so you won't see the shake as much. I wasn't intending to come on today. I knew it had to be soon. Hell, it's been almost a month. But as I said in the last video, unless you, my dear listeners and subscribers, come up with something inspirational, we'll just let the last video sit, where we talked about Trump telling everybody to go back where they came from. So what stirred me to come on today, and early? It's not even noon. Well, as you know, the queers are trying to spread the word everywhere. So they do a queer week in Minden. I haven't talked about it. You don't like to go to the toilet in your own doorstep. Hey, it's the Dinosaur News. It's Beattie Boy. I think I said that already. Getting senile. Brought to you compliments of the British People's League. As I talk to you now, I look across the street to the Desecration, the rainbow rag. The rainbow rag. So they did a ceremony today in Minden, Ontario, in front of Town Hall. I'm disappointed in some of the politicians. And they raised the red rag with the abomination, the rainbow rag. Now, they've combined the two, as many across Canada know. They've combined the rainbow rag with the red rag. And it's a desecration of the flag. I shouldn't call it a red rag when, you know, fine Canadian troops fought in Afghanistan, etc. There's been many skirmishes since the Second World War, when we had the good old red ensign. But anyway, in protest today, a neighbor walked her dog with me, and I had the Union Jack cap on. I point to it because the irony is, the way I do these videos, there's too much light behind the screen, and if I put the Union Jack cap on, it just looks as white as my hair. It doesn't stand out. But that was my protest. I had the Union Jack cap on right around the rag raising at Town Hall this morning, walking with a fine neighbor, a lovely lady, and her American Bulldog. So we got the Americans in there. And we got a few dirty looks, a few shock looks, because they took over the little village. Is only a teeny main drag, and Queer runs a couple of the joints, and they had a reception there. But what could they say? I'm wearing the Union Jack cap on my head in memory of the British Canadians who founded Canada. I know, the French Canadians were here first, and I give them full credit. And the Indians before that, whatever, whoever conquered whatever. But you get my point. Flying the flag of those who arrived first. Besides, the Union Jack is still incorporated. The Union Jack is still incorporated in many provincial flags of Canada. So when they talk about Canada has no roots, baloney. The Dominion of Canada was founded in 1867 by this boy here, Sir John Alexander Macdonald. We were the conquerors, and that's the history of the world, isn't it? Indian tribes conquered Indian tribes. India and the Kashmir and the Far East are having problems right now. You got Hong Kong. And by the way, I'll slip this in. As you know, I love to wander. Those people, there's a lot of people whine about China all the time. Oh, it's hopeless, you know. China's going to take over everything. That's just another excuse. As my old Dutch philosopher, landlord Henrik van der Wint used to say, they come up with excuses, John, so I don't have to do anything. It's like now my idea of the legal underground defense units, LUDUs, legal underground defense units. The idea hit me from Sir Winston Churchill, the Second World War. The underground units is what freed Europe and gave Allies the victory. Underground defense units, legal. But you know what? Now some people are using, oh, well, we're doing legal underground defense units. They're using the word underground for secrecy and then doing nothing, absolutely nothing. The idea of a legal underground defense unit basically is to run off a few posters saying it's okay to be white and put them up legally supermarket bulletin boards or post town hall notices, whatever. Legal underground defense units. Kitchenettes. Oh, great. Now Beattie's going to tie in the word kitchenette with legal underground defense units. Well, when people meet in the kitchen, have a coffee or have a beer. You got two people and you're talking white patriotism, the good old days when Canada was white, bright, and beautiful coast to coast, as Sir John Alexander wanted it to be in his speeches. Well, if you want those days back, we've got to defend ourselves. The cities, the police can't even defend. They try. A lot of police do their best. Some die in the line of duty, of course. But, you know, you're no longer guaranteed safety. The break-ins, the house break-ins, the shots in broad daylight, people killed in broad daylight. You know the story in all the cities, blah, blah, blah. So what's the point? Legal underground defense units. If a unit gets out a poster, it's okay to be white. We'll know, won't we? Because the global elite press will smear any village, town, or wherever a poster comes out to get them off the lampposts or whatever. But that's proof to this boy, John Beattie. Proof to me that you do have an active legal underground defense unit is when those posters go up. Those posters win minds. They win people over. They're just as effective and more legal than bullets, aren't they? Posters are legal. Bullets are not legal, except when you're defending your family. I mean, if you got a hunting rifle on the wall and there's a home invasion, well, you got the right to defend your family and yourself, of course. Okay, so we're wandering. So Queer Week in Minden. Now, the beauty is, it wasn't out long with the neighbor, and two key people. Reporter from the local Minden Times newspaper. He's a nice guy. He's a singer in local pubs as well. Well, he's not going to print anything because there's John wearing the Union Jack cap and with a nice lady out for a walk. What's he going to say? But of course they got the message. They got that rainbow rag with the red rag all over town now. And here's Beattie slicing through the middle, slicing through the margarine with the good old Union Jack on my head, the cap. And then secondly, the second bonus was when I checked the mail, because in the villages they don't have mail delivery. You go to the mail station. Well, that worked out good because the Queers were having a reception at a small snack bar, whatever you call them, owned by a Queer. So we strolled by and checked the mail, and then who comes out? Lo and behold, the former owner of a local newspaper who hates the British, hates British Canadians, and he used to show that in his editorials years ago. I think he's younger physically, biologically than myself, but he sure looked 20 years older when he saw me wearing the Union Jack. He knew what it meant. These are our people. People say we have no culture. Would you like to look in the Peterborough, Ontario phone book, or Lindsay, Ontario, or still even London, Ontario? Even though it's a city now, London, but the Anglo-Saxon, Anglo-Celtic, the Anglo-Celtic names are still predominant. Thompson, Cooper, Jones, Smith, you name it. We're still the predominant factor. We have a British-Canadian culture in this country, coast to coast, not counting the big, huge cities, of course, but the villages. But we got to get working. As the neighbor pointed out, we were almost arguing that it was growing the Queer Week. Well, after the Queer Week is over, after it's over, there's nothing doing. As a matter of fact, the committee that ran the first Queer Weeks in Minden 3 or 4 years ago, they used to name all the members of the committee. Now, isn't it interesting, the old guy that founded it, he's moved out of town 30 miles away, 20 miles away, and also the committee are not named in the newspaper ads. By name, the committee members have always been named. Why? I'm sure they were boycotted. I'm sure they were hurt legally in some way. I'm positive. Because this year all you have is the name of the organizer, one man's name, and then the business sponsors. I'm proud that the bank I deal with is not a sponsor. It's hard to not scream and rave. At the age of 77, when I remember, Toronto, the good one, it was white, bright, and beautiful. And now the opposition, the multi-cult lovers, There's another paper north of here in Haliburton, Ontario, the Highlander it's called. It's owned by two non-Christians, shall we call them. And every issue, they go to their way to find a minority person to feature an article about. Every issue. It's just unreal. But they're not winning. The hillbillies that founded Minden, Ontario, and the hard work founded Haliburton County, their grandchildren, the ones that are still here working, they keep the old traditions, keeping Haliburton County white, bright, and beautiful. In Minden itself, there may be 40 non-whites, and I was just thinking of queers, I don't know, maybe 10 in the whole village. But they make this week look like they've just taken it over. Well, then why did they take the committee names out this year? They must be afraid. Why would they take the committee names out? I challenge you to answer that, queer boys. So anyway, that's what got me going today. Got me started and whirled up. The basic thrust. And we'll go back to Hong Kong. It's a big, big item. Hong Kong and Taiwan are a thorn in China's backside. And as I was trying to say, and I cut myself off, not only talk to myself, cut myself off, my own audience. But as old Van de Wint used to say, people have excuses not to do anything. So as long as people say, oh, well, the red menace is going to take over the globe, then they don't have to do anything. They don't do anything. There are people I know, and they're good people, they mean well, but all they do is search out where we're losing. How about printing where we're winning? And I call the win for the local people here in Minden, Ontario, that the committee has been afraid to put their names out publicly. That's a big win, 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 win. They'll be gone next week. And the other irony is right across the street from me, I have to look at the rainbow rag. It's attached to a United Church. Good old timers go there. The old time people come in their canes and they hobble up to the doors, remembering the good old days of the church services. But of course now it's pretty well run by queers. And they're going to have an ecumenical church get-together next Sunday on the 25th. They're even going to have a Muslim queer lover, and Anglican queer lovers. It's pretty pathetic. So what have I covered? I've covered locally, the queers, driving me crazy. I'm sure they drive you crazy too. Why do queers hate straight people so much? Why do queers hate straight people? I don't hate them. I hate their lifestyle, but as people, they made a bad choice. They're not too bright, and they're only fooling themselves. They want to sleep with the sewer system of the human body. Is that normal? Does that sound normal? Well, they think it's normal. Good for them. Anyway, after this week, so then I debated myself. Well, you talk about them, you draw attention to them. True, true, true. But sometimes I have to go by instinct, and I just want to shove it at them that after this week they're done for a year. And I also noticed that they always get the last tourist week of August. Most of the tourists are starting to drift back to Toronto for the CNE, etc. So they don't have that big a crowd to draw on anyway. Okay, I made my point. Surely we can get at something else here. I noticed there's a few YouTubers that are starting to do shorter YouTubes and more frequent, and they are catchy, I must admit. You don't have to have a long YouTube to go on. And I still promote in Britain, the best guy there is Peter Hollings, Hollings. So if you're on Facebook, look up Peter Hollings in the United Kingdom. In America, the two best for the rough and tough street fighters, you've got Mark Davis out of Wisconsin. And then for information, nonstop, 24 hours a day, all week long, John Gerhardt. Gerhardt. John Gerhardt. Oh, you know the scoop. If you want to find out information on anyone in our camp, in our worldwide network, working with Europeans, etc., white Europeans, you just have to click in a name and then attach the word racist to it, and the background will come up. So if you punch in John Gerhardt, racist, then you can find out how to get in touch with him and try and get on his mailing list. He mails a lot of educational YouTubes. And as I always confess, I don't watch half them. I shut my eyes because the age I can't keep up with everything, whatever. But God bless him Odin bless him for sending out all the material he does. And for Mark Davis, his subscriptions are picking up. So are a few others. But they're the two that I say are the best of all the YouTubers. Mark Davis and John Gerhardt for information. And Peter Hollings for his editorials and his connections in Britain. And don't forget to follow John Beattie. That's me. Hey! Don't talk about myself much. Narcissistic, egotistical dingbat. But don't forget my Facebook. In between the videos on my YouTube channel, John Beattie YouTube channel, I do, quite a few postings on Facebook. And I got that thing up there now. It says Facebook 7 years. I'm sure I've come close to the line of getting banned, but I haven't been banned yet. Just same with YouTube videos. You got to get the message across without being banned. Well, saying queers, I can say that because the queers call themselves queers. A queer is a queer is a queer is a queer, and they call themselves queers in all their advertisements and everything else. So that's why I get away with that. So you see the red ensign flag blowing in the breeze a bit. Well, I got a fan behind it for the props. Tilt my head, you'll see the coat of arms and so on. It is the red ensign. Well, we don't like to go on too long because, as I always cry, it takes ages to download. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time I get inspired. And tell your friends about the videos put out by the British People's League. So God bless each and every one of you. Odin bless each and every one of you for listening. And we'll catch you next time. And just remember, if you don't do something for your white race, then you are denying your great-great-grandchildren all of the joys of our great, great history and our past. And God bless our Viking ancestors too. Goodbye for now.